just talking about the XoneBros right here in between while the music plays. We have these long conversations, philosophical conversations, and we forgot the show was on.
No, you hit it just right.
Yeah.
Like you stopped mid-stride and then went into that.
Yeah,
So they would have had no idea.
No idea.
How weird and unprofessional we are off cam.
Welcome, everybody, to the XoneBros. This is your positive gaming and Xbox community. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us this week. As always, I'm joined by the bros, the XoneBros. First is Mr. McSpicy. There he is.
Hello, I'm here. Yep.
Jordan the Man is here, as always.
Hello.
And I am here as well. We've made some adjustments to our microphones, and it's amazing.
It's more open.
Now the camera's a little too high on Jordan. If you look at Jordan.
Oh, I'm actually just sitting up straight.
You usually slouch,
Yeah.
so
This causes you to sit up straight.
now it's making you. I'm gonna have to adjust some things.
Making you pretty tall there. Well done. Well done. Welcome, everybody. We have Discord. Go join us on Discord. It's a good time. Filled with positive gamers. We actually have a gamer strength thing there that I enjoy. I'm trying to lose weight and become America's Next Top Underwear model.
Oh, good for you.
That's my goal.
Yeah. How close are you?
Not very close. But
Well,
I'm improving
Well,
every day.
that's good.
Anyways, I post my progress over in Gamer Strength, and not pictures or anything, just of like, hey, this is what I did for my workout today. One day, shirtless pictures will be coming, so stay tuned.
For those tier 3 supporters.
Tier 3 supporters.
We'll go to a special site for those.
Yes. Anyway, so head over to Discord. Join us there, XoneBros.com/Discord. Hit the Discord button and come join us. Morning streams are finally going to be back. Guess what? The issues we had with YouTube, what YouTube was doing is not processing our videos for like 48 hours. It is gone. It has subsided. And so those will be back this next week. I had a lot of people DMing me, asking me about that. Apologize. It was a thing on our back end with YouTube that we're waiting on getting fixed. It appears to have been fixed. So stay tuned for that. So what is the daily morning stream? Mr. McSpicy, what's the daily morning stream?
Well, David,
That's me.
very good streamer
me.
and guy, by the way.
Hey, that's
props
me.
to this guy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And he's going to be an underwear model someday. So
Yeah.
this is his start.
Aspiration.
A lot of-
Hashtag
yeah.
aspiration.
Yeah, this is his origin story until that happens.
The origin story, yeah.
The daily news, David hops on, chats with chat for a little bit, and then just goes right into some stories. It's really cool. It's a really good way to stay informed and chat with David.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
come do it. Jordan the Man streams Monday and Wednesdays. Jordan, what'd you stream this week?
Resident Evil.
Oh, dirty. Let's jump right
Village.
into Resident Evil. So last week you gave us your first impressions.
Uh-huh, yeah,
By
yeah.
the way, Jordan streams Monday and Wednesdays, everybody, so come join him. YouTube.com/XoneBros. Resident Evil. Last week you gave us your first impression. You said in big, bold letters with the Jordan stamp of approval on it that as of right now, this is my game of the year.
Yeah.
Diving in deeper this week. Does that remain true, or is it less than expected?
No, it's still true.
Wow.
As of right now, this is my game of the year. It's
Wow.
numero uno. I don't think it'll drop down unless like 3 other games blow my mind. But I don't think it'll drop past 3
Yeah.
with what's coming out this year. So we'll see. I mean, it's only May, but as of right now, it's really well done.
So you like it?
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay.
It's really good. It's how they tell their story. I think we were talking about it last week. How they present you with a mystery, and basically getting you to progress forward to figure out what's going on. The story, just the way they tell the story is really good. It's a linear open world, which I know
makes
doesn't
no sense.
I know, but it is. But
Okay.
it is.
So what?
It's a linear open world. It's
That's
the best way to describe the game. And once you start playing, you'll kind of understand, like, okay, it's all right. There's
So is there another game that you can compare like linear open world to?
Dark Souls.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah. I can.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a linear open world. Within areas you can go wherever. Well, what's cool about Resident Evil, which is also what's cool about Dark Souls, is I would say Resident Evil is maybe a one tick more open world-ish than Dark
Okay.
Souls, because it's not an open world. I don't want to say it's an open world game. The best way to describe it is a linear open world game.
Okay.
Because the story does progress you in a very specific direction. You have to do certain things first. But as you do those certain things, you unlock different parts of, let's say, the village. You can always go back and explore the village to get new treasures that you found, to get there's almost like Zelda-esque style stuff where like, oh, I have this crank to the well now. I can go to the well and use
Sure.
it, and then there's an item there, or that unlocks something else, or I now have this item that unlocks bridges and stuff, which leads me to a new area that I can go and explore. They have basically side bosses within this open world. For example, when I went to go hunt a treasure, there was this crazy side boss that I had to fight that had nothing to do with, like, it was just completely off to the side. You didn't have to do it. You didn't have to.
Should we pull up some gameplay? I'm curious if there's anything that shows off this the world that you're talking about. Now, what makes it the game of the year for you? Like, what is it that sets it apart for other games you've played so far? Is it the story? Is it the gameplay? The mechanics?
I would say
exactly?
I like how the world is set up. It's hard to describe, but it's a linear open world, kind of. You know, that's what it is. But
it's the best description.
Well, what's really cool is how fresh the game stays, if that makes sense. For example, the first part of the game, very early on, you go into the castle, which is what we've been seeing in all the promotional material, and the castle is very Resident Evil like 1 and 2. Like, you're in the mansion. Resident Evil 2, you're in the police station. It's very confined, claustrophobic. There's locked doors. There's people chasing you. There's things popping out. It gets crazy, right? It's very claustrophobic, right?
Yeah.
It's got that Resident Evil 1 mansion vibe. It's got that Resident Evil 2 police station vibe.
Well, even right here, what we're watching is this guy's traveling through the woods.
Yeah, this is literally how the game starts.
And you can only see what's directly in front of you with the flashlight.
Because it's dark. And then, so you go through that whole sequence.
It looks beautiful, though.
Yeah,
wow.
it's a really good looking game.
I mean, there are scenes that I've just like dipped my toes in. I haven't played this, but little things that I noticed. There was a scene. I don't know, Jordan. Was it with a baby?
Yeah, next gen baby.
Yeah, next gen
it's
baby.
It's actually one of the best babies It's actually the best baby I've ever seen in a video game.
Really?
But this,
next gen baby.
I believe it was the mom of the baby was like setting out dinner, and you know, in games where they have like drinks and liquids in pots and stuff, and it's always just like
it's a solid,
a polygon solid.
Yeah.
It looked like. We're at next. We're at next level gaming when it sloshes.
Really?
When it sloshes
She
puts the ladle in, and changes it and stuff like that. Do you know how many polygons that takes? We're at a very special place in gaming.
Just detailed.
Yeah, very detailed. So just going back to the game staying fresh. So that first section with the castle, it, like I said, it feels very Resident Evil 1 and 2. And then you go to the next section of the game, and it is a complete 180 difference from the first section of the game. Like, it's a completely different gameplay style and different, I guess, attitude. And it really, I think, it keeps the game fresh because you're not just going, okay, clear this zone, boss fight. Clear this zone, boss fight.
Yeah.
Right? It's very well done. Like, it keeps things fresh. Then you go to the next zone, which is another different experience. They do a really good job. Going back to the details, which adds to the atmosphere is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, just watching it oozes atmosphere. That's
oozes.
That's apparent just from the visuals with no sound.
Whoever had the idea back in Resident Evil 7 to go first person, and whoever is their first person engineer, first of all, that was an amazing idea. And whoever engineers the first person camera angle, I'm sure it's a whole team, but hats off to them because you feel like you're in talking to these people. When there's no traditional, I guess, cutscenes. I mean, there's maybe one or two here and there, but how they do their cutscenes is it's there's conversations, like how we just saw right here on the live stream. That lady came out and started talking to us. It feels like they're actually talking to you.
Yeah. No, it's apparent,
and that just adds to that atmosphere.
I mean, you do just from watching it, you can tell it's immersive.
Mm-hmm. And then going back to gameplay, it's your typical gameplay. There's puzzles, there's combat, there's jump scares, there's super creepy as crap things. Like that second zone, I had to take a break.
How creepy is your crap?
Yeah, there was some weird,
pretty creepy.
Yeah, there's the second zone you go to. Wow, like whichever guy had that idea, you want to know how his dinner conversations go. But it was yeah. I mean, that's the point, right? It was supposed to make you feel uncomfortable, and it certainly did. But it's gameplay, gunplay. It's tightened up from number 7. Number 7's gunplay wasn't bad, but this gunplay is better. It's tightened up, which is kind of the way they explain it in the lore is Ethan's kind of it's not his first rodeo anymore. He's been through this once before. He can handle a weapon now. And then going into that, the upgrade system. It's very much like Resident Evil 4, where you have a shopkeeper now. And the way you upgrade your guns is you have a currency, so it's worth it for you to go out and buy or find treasures that are hidden throughout the world, because then you can take those treasures to the merchant, who's called the Duke, and you can sell it to him, and then you can then take the money you get to upgrade your weapons. The progression is really well done. The atmosphere is really well done. The story is super cool, especially if you've played number 7 and previous games, because there's a lot of nods to that. It's just well done.
But you can play this standalone as well if you've never played the others.
They have
You just don't get the Easter eggs
in the game. I mean, the more I get into it, the more I think I'm glad I've played the series.
Sure.
I would say if you played 7, you would get what's going on because you'd know all the characters. You'd have more of an attachment to them. You know?
Sure. Okay.
The other ones, there's more so just Easter eggs and stuff in there. Obviously, it's all in the same universe, but there is a video on the main menu that says it's basically a previously on, and it tries its best to catch you up before jumping into this one. I think you can play this one standalone, and I think it's a good one to get into because I think it's the best one they've done. But it does benefit you to play number 7, or at least know the story of number 7.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's my game of the year right now, and I haven't even played Mercenaries mode yet.
Well,
It's another game mode they have.
I'm excited to jump in. I actually have it downloaded on both my TV and then my bedroom, my office gaming console as well, so that I can play. My wife wants to play this with me. I think it's a good story game.
Well, didn't she grow up
play
playing
together.
Resident Evil?
Yeah, she enjoys Resident Evil. So we actually went through the Resident Evil 2 remake together. We didn't finish it or anything, but it was just fun to go through. So I think this suits that really well.
Another thing I want to say is since we're watching this scene here, the characters are super intriguing. 2 characters in particular, but the characters you get to meet and talk to and interact with, given most of them are not your friend, they're really intriguing and you want to learn more about them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Big news with Xbox and China and Xbox China. Xbox is coming to China.
All right,
Oh, wow.
in June.
That's right. Microsoft announced earlier this week that the Xbox Series X and Series S will officially launch in mainland China in a few weeks on June 10th, with pre-orders starting as soon as next week from the Microsoft Store on Wednesday, May 19th. We're excited. This is from Xbox. We're excited to be able to sync with Chinese gamers into the new generation of games and experience the new generation of games with a high degree of immersion and compatibility. Games are a very creative way to express themselves, to stimulate our imaginations, to connect with each other in a vivid story. What's really exciting about this is they also signed a deal with Tencent, another deal with Tencent for something for the future there in China as well. So where Xbox has always suffered in competing with the PlayStation is worldwide. It's been a very American, and by America I mean North America, South America. It's been American-centric box gaming device. That's where Sony has just crushed it. Interesting enough, Xbox outsold Sony in the UK last month.
Wow.
Did not beat the Switch though. The Switch.
Well,
is
who
just,
does?
Dude,
Well,
the
you can
Switch
actually
is
find the Switch.
Yeah, the Switch you
is
can find.
crushing
I think that's half the battle. Is you can
You can
find
actually
it.
purchase that.
So, no, that'll be interesting. I wonder what their projections and stuff are for China, because I know, well, just like you were saying, traditionally they don't do. I mean, I'm not saying they do bad in those countries, but they don't necessarily do the best.
They've not done well in
China
Asia.
and Japan.
Yeah, in Asia.
You know.
And I think their focus. I mean, if you look at Game Pass, they've got a lot. I mean, Square Enix is over there. They've got a lot of JRPGs.
Well, Square Enix is in Japan, right?
They've got
Right,
JRPGs on there right now that never has traditionally been of the strong suit of Xbox, and I think that they're in a pretty predominant way, so that when they do go into Asian countries or even Eastern European countries that maybe like JRPGs a little bit more, then they're set up like they have the products that people want there. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how well they do. It's exciting. It's an exciting time to be an Xbox player.
Yeah, it really is.
Spicy, any thoughts that jump out to you on Microsoft China, Xbox China?
That's a big market.
Giant.
That's a huge market. I hope I can still get my Xbox stuff. That's
So
my
I
only.
would-
I mean, I'm happy, but at the same time, I want stuff too. That's a big. That's a big, order to fill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause there's a lot of.
I also hope them going into China and stuff. I don't know who's making the Crossfire X game. Isn't that a Chinese developer?
Well, that's where it's popular.
I
is
hope
China.
I hope it speeds up the process because I'm really excited to play that game when they get the consoles over there.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, Microsoft is going to have to. If they have a lot of orders to fill, does that mean that we don't get what we want? I don't know, because that's a huge market. That's a massive market.
That's probably a different factory.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
then we're
they
fine.
probably got a factory over there.
No problem.
Yeah.
We're good.
So
Yeah.
they probably have an American factory and then a China factory or
Yeah,
an
that-
Asia factory.
That's how the world works.
Yeah, it's probably. I
essentially.
guarantee it.
No, but good for Microsoft for pushing this. Good for Phil Spencer for getting those relationships going, and everyone at Xbox. That's super cool. I mean, I want Xbox to succeed. I want all games to succeed. Really, that are great.
Why did it take so long to get into that market?
Probably. I mean, this is speculation, but I would think that licensing. I know that those countries over there are very loyal, and they don't like. They like to keep things in house a lot of the time. If that makes sense. So I that's what I think half the battle was. Is
Because I
mean,
know,
when
I know why. Like, for example, like if you take a game, let's take World of Warcraft for example. I know it released in the Americas first in Europe, and then later I think for the original games, and then later it came to like China and stuff because they had to go back in and like meet the China standards. Like there couldn't be any like blood and gore and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But with a console, I wonder what the regulations are. I guess, right?
I mean, it could be a number. It probably is a number of things. I mean, I'm thinking of why StarCraft is so popular in Korea, and that's because Korea didn't have. I mean, it didn't make sense for Nintendo nor Sony nor even any of the other developers to translate games, even like Sierra, all these old developers back in the 90s. It didn't make sense financially to translate into, the Korean language, except Blizzard kind of stepped up and helped with that, and they didn't have a lot of local internet in their houses, so they went to like internet cafes and stuff like that. And StarCraft really got really popular with the young crowd because there was a lack of consoles, because there was no consoles or games that were translated into their language. So somehow StarCraft stepped in, and they would go to these internet cafes, things like that.
That being said, StarCraft did only have like 100 lines, right, altogether.
But what I'm saying, why I bring that up, is maybe it's been a difficult language barrier to cross. Maybe a translation / communication barrier as well. I would think, this is me just being stupid. I have no idea, but this is me speculating that's one of the many reasons that it could have been. I'm sure there's a lot of more smart people out there that would be totally on top of what, why, and when and how. But there's at least we get it now. Another concern I have is, you remember that game? Was it Atlas? What's that game that has 10,000 servers?
Yeah, where there's basically a war between the Americas and China over the ocean.
Yeah. So my concern bringing that game up is how many sheer numbers of gamers there are in China, and how terrifying that is to have an open world game just completely flooded with those gamers, and there's no space for us anymore.
Well, as long as you have regional servers, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If as long as they still keep in mind that we're here too, because I mean we were the 80 percentile, people that game in Western society, and we're going to be crunched down and squished down to like 10% of the entire package now that these consoles are going over there.
The population of Asia is huge.
And I could be just speaking out of my butt, I just could be making things up, but that's the only concern I have, is having servers that aren't flooded.
Especially if they bring Atlas out.
Yeah, and I think of like H1Z1. Remember when we played that? And
that was a developer issue.
Well, it was a developer issue that allowed Chinese players onto Western servers.
Yeah.
And not saying we shouldn't allow them. We should absolutely allow them. It's just when you put that kind of... I mean, if you look at a globe, they're here, we're here, there's going to be latency, and it causes just problems. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So,
well, and that wasn't... H1Z1 had a lot of issues.
It did.
Because there was that was a developer's thing, though. That was pretty,
I know, But so there are, Xbox has a lot of challenges. What I'm getting at is they're going to have a lot of challenges. It's cool to see that they are breaching maybe some of the language barriers and things like that to even enter the market, which is awesome. But I hope it succeeds. I always want all consoles to do well, so we have more competition and better things for consumers. That's what I'm just BSing it now, but cool, David. That's what I think, David.
Yeah, it is the 20th anniversary of Xbox too, so it all kind of lines up together with that.
This year, I think November 15th is the official 20th anniversary of Xbox, but Xbox has been out for 20 years, as well as the Halo franchise.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of they're kicking off. Xbox is kicking off their 20th anniversary celebrations. I think it was this week. They have new merch, wallpaper, screensavers, all this cool stuff. I'm sure we'll get more stuff, leading up into November.
It's funny when you
this.
said wallpaper. For some reason, I went like old fashioned on your wall.
That would be cool, like an Xbox wallpaper. No, sorry, screensaver wallpaper, for computers and stuff.
Digital wallpaper.
But really cool. Do you remember the first game you played on the original Xbox? Mine was probably Halo and Fusion Frenzy are like the two that I just played all the time.
I think it was Halo.
Mine was Halo.
Yeah. It shows you how big of a game that was.
Yeah.
Well, you bought an Xbox to play Halo.
To play Halo, yeah.
That's why you bought one. So you could LAN party at your friend's house.
Yeah, 20.
It was Halo because I went through with my friend Christopher Ferguson, and we did co-op Halo.
Shout out to Christopher Ferguson
Yeah.
from 2001.
From 2001.
Or 2002.
2001, I think. In between, we
So-
play Animal Crossing and bring our memory cards to go to each other's islands.
Yeah.
On
In
the
Animal
GameCube,
Crossing,
on the
yeah.
GameCube.
So anyway, 20 years for Xbox. So congratulations to them, and
Yeah,
look how
congrats.
far we've come.
Very far.
I mean, when we first started, no one knew what ray tracing was.
And
Now it's a shame not to have it.
now it's a
you know?
shame. It's a damn shame.
What resolution did we start at? Like 480?
Probably. And I think by then with the Xbox, I don't think it was interlaced.
Because 360 was HD and that was 720, right? Did it go up to 1080?
No.
But wasn't it like 720?
No, yeah. It was 1280 by 720. Yeah, it probably was 480.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
old
YouTube
school.
even around at that point?
YouTube started after the Xbox. It wasn't at 2000
Because Xbox was 2001, so YouTube was
or
2004.
5 that YouTube started, and this was before Google owned it. Yeah, so before YouTube.
Yeah,
Well, gaming back in the day, you didn't have all these tutorials and how-to
it was
videos.
just, you had to do it.
You had to figure out the things on your own, unless you got that issue of Nintendo Power. Remember?
And they did it for
Or
you.
there was a PlayStation one as well that I would always
And then
get.
there was like PC Magazine.
because the
and
disc.
Stuff,
No, that's right. The discs
Yeah.
would come with
The
the
demo
demos.
disc.
That's how
Yeah.
you got the demo games. As the magazine, you'd be like, awesome, the new demo disc is
Yeah, and then Xbox.
Metal Gear Solid, let's do this.
What was the Xbox magazine?
I think there was an official Xbox magazine,
the
but I know
official
there was
Xbox.
like
And it
PC
came with a
Gamer.
disc, too.
I don't even know when Game Informer started, which was kind of like everything.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah. So anyway,
Magazines.
it's just kind of fun to think how far we've come in just 20 years because it's kind of a relatively short period of time.
Do you think magazines will ever make a huge comeback?
Magazines?
Yeah.
No.
They are interesting to flip through.
Yeah, but you can technically flip through them on your phone.
Yeah.
Even you can get the swiping, like the
I
page turning
prefer
animation.
the hard copy. Every time I like go into GameStop, they always look at me like, "Hey, do you want to switch to the digital edition?" And I go, "No, I want the physical." And they like look at me like,
It is nice.
Why?
It's nice, like,
I'm like,
flipping
'cause I
through
do.
a magazine. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It is.
But remember, like you'd go to the grocery store, you'd go to the magazine section, and they would just have like a whole huge row, and it would be like every niche hobby you could think of had a magazine.
Woodworking Weekly.
Now I go to
Yes.
it, and there's like 10 magazines only,
They're all fitness.
and it's like fitness ones, yeah.
And then
So I
like
wonder
3
why.
gossip ones, right?
Well,
like-
because
like
people,
And then like
people
one,
go,
yeah.
I want to be an underwear model someday.
It's true.
I need to buy a magazine and start my investment today. That's why those still exist.
But very cool. Yeah, 20 years of Xbox. I think Xbox is actually the only console that I was alive when it first came out, and I'm still alive now at the current gen.
Yeah, Psychotic in chat
Wow.
says Psychotic in chat says my favorite magazine was Tips and Tricks. Brian F says OXM, and Mr. Ryan Duro says OXM was my favorite as well. Lived for those demo
Yeah.
discs.
Because when was the original Nintendo?
Like NES?
Like NES.
Like
late 80s.
See, I wasn't alive yet.
Yeah, 80 something.
When was the original PlayStation? I was probably
The
alive for that.
original PlayStation was with
92-ish?
Super Nintendo, the end of Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
So like 90-ish. So I was probably alive for that
92-ish,
one.
I think.
Okay, so I was alive for that one too.
You were alive for that one?
The Sony was
original PlayStation.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
If it was
PlayStation
90s, that's when I came.
was
around.
when Sega was coming out with all the disc attachments that you could attach to it, right? Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
And then Sony came out and crushed it.
The Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
The Sega 32-bit.
Let's take a look. Starfield.
Yeah.
So we've not seen a whole lot, but there are
Well,
leaks.
we're still not seeing a whole lot.
There are leaks that came out this week. Spice, maybe we could, if you just type in Starfield leaks, I think.
Yeah, so there's
we'll get some
so
images up.
Starfield, the new game that is coming hopefully this year, maybe next year if there's no confirmation. We'll find out this year at all the events that are going on because they'll tell us if it's coming out this year or not. So Starfield, I think it was actually earlier today, it might have been earlier this week, had some screenshots that were leaked. The reason I say we still don't know much about it is because the screenshots really don't show anything off. In the screenshots, you can kind of tell they're obviously in some type of developer build, especially for
apparently these were rumor is these were from 2018 build.
And that's the other thing is they're from 2018. So really,
look how crappy those graphics are from 2 years ago.
Yeah, really, this doesn't give us any information at all. But I think it does kind of get the hype going because it made me excited.
We do get to know there's a company called Axion.
Yeah, and we get to know
Energy.
that at some point in the game there's a green helmet.
Doom.
And that's a cool looking helmet.
Doomslayer. That's Doomslayer's helmet. He's making an appearance.
He's making an appearance. Yeah. It's a cross universe game. No, it just to me it doesn't. I mean, it gets you excited. I'm excited for Starfield. I mean, this is cool. I mean, I don't know if it's cool or not. I guess it depends on what side you're on, if you're a developer or not. But I mean, it's always fun when we get to see images like this. But given that they don't show anything,
well, and even so,
they're from 2018.
We're looking at a green helmet on the right. What the hell am I looking at on the left? What the hell am I looking at on the right?
That's a support beam for the living room.
Is it a door?
It's a door.
No, it's a support beam for the living room.
It's a wall.
It's up to code.
I could be looking at the ceiling. It could be. I don't know what it is we're looking at. These are some interesting.
The other thing is, if you were to go to the other screenshots, there's one that takes a screenshot of kind of like I assume it would be like the bottom right hand corner of the screen, which is kind of showing like a UI. It says 00. I would assume it would be for bullets or something like that, or
down there as well.
Yeah.
I
don't know if it's a gun. I assume it's something to do with your inventory or bullets or who knows. But the other thing that gets us is game development goes through a lot of changes. In this picture, if you're watching live especially, you can obviously tell that the one on the left is some type of developer build, test, whatever, something that they're trying out. But the fact that these are from 2018, I mean, all this could have changed. Could have changed 3 or 4 times from now.
Is that a cutscene or is it a third? Have they confirmed it's going to be a third-person game?
I assume it's going to be just like Skyrim and Fallout where you can choose third or first.
Well, but Skyrim and Fallout Premiere mode is first.
Yeah, and if you actually scroll, there's some more screenshot that say...
I'm not on that same site you are. Here, let me bounce out real quick and go to...
There's another screenshot that says, I think the person that tweeted out said, here is one from first person, and he took a picture of the floor. So that's again, I'm not trying. I feel
that's how you tease, man. That is how you tease.
Again, I don't want it to sound like I'm not knocking on anybody or anything. All I'm saying is let's control ourselves here, because one, you can obviously tell that one of these pictures is got to be from some type of developer build or like a test environment that they're testing new stuff in or something, right? Because they throw stuff into a test environment. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
You're tired of all these third-person Starfield leaks? Here's one in first person, and I don't even know.
Yeah, he's looking at the ground.
What we're like upside down.
So, but the big thing for me is, again, these are from supposedly reportedly, none of this is confirmed, right? But supposedly these are from a 2018 build, and that just made that whole UI could have changed 4 or 5 different times during the course of development. You know what I mean? When they develop games, a lot of this stuff may still be placeholder. It may still just be first renditions of what the UI is going to look like. It's just I think it's cool that we're getting excited for Starfield, and I'm excited for Starfield. I hope it's in the top 3 of my games of the year with Resident Evil, but we'll see if it comes out this year or not. But I'm just saying, it's not. We're not getting necessarily.
Yeah, still made news.
Yeah, any new information.
I have been seeing a lot of people. So Starfield's super exciting, but going back to a game that's already released, and maybe Assassin's Creed,
the
Valhalla,
DLC,
the DLC. I've been seeing a lot of people stream that, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks really fun. So Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Wrath of the Druids, the new DLC available now.
The Druids.
It takes us to the land of Ireland.
Yes, the land of the druids.
The land of Ireland. There's, from what I've read, I've not played it yet, but from what I've seen, there's about 20 quests, and it should take you anywhere between, if you're playing on like a normal mode, and just kind of playing the game normally, so we're not talking speed runs, we're just talking about a normal playthrough, anywhere between 10 to 12 hours, which is not too bad for a little DLC pack.
No, not bad at all.
And the game does look good. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is
I love that game.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I actually never finished it, but because I'm stupid and I spend all my time trying 100% it.
Yeah, in Sussex.
And I still I'm like 90 hours in, not even close.
Did you finish the main story, correct, Jordan?
No.
Oh, you didn't.
No,
So
our barber is currently upset with me because he keeps telling me I got to finish it. So it's my goal to finish it.
I know
before I start. I think I want to try and finish that one before I start.
Well,
Mass
Assassin's Creed now, where does it stand in? Because it did have a different feel than the other Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
Better feel, not as good of a feel. Where do you think this will stand the test of time in history with Assassin's Creed?
I think it depends because Mark and I actually have different perspectives on this. I like this feel better, but I really like my build of I like this combat better.
Okay.
He's an in-your-face kind of combat guy.
One, I really like to parry. I have a setup to parry really well. I'm okay not... I like this combat a little bit better. I know you didn't like it because of stealth elements, which you're right, it's not as stealthy as the other games. It's definitely not.
It seems like the developer is sick of stealth games. Like, they're just straight up, I'm just going to make all the perks for stealth suck. And impossible to use. And then, unlike the mechanics of the gameplay as well, make it so it's impossible to stealth.
Even with like raiding is where you really notice it, yeah.
So you have to like, if you're going to stealth build, you have to hybrid build just so you can pass certain parts of the game. This one and the last game, they kind of started doing that. The one before that, it was still kind of stealthy, but I don't like that because I personally like stealth builds. I like stealth games. Whereas Jordan, he's a Warcraft player, He's bred that way. He goes in, he has the action combat, he goes in, kills things. This is great. Let's move on to the next, thing to do. Whereas I like to, when I play Far Cry, I save my game before I enter one of those towns or pivotal locations. And if I don't get a 100% stealth, finish of that location, I'll go back to my save. And it has nothing to do with achievements or anything. It's just how I like to play the game. Yeah. I feel a sense of accomplishment by stealthing everything.
Well, it sounds like what you're saying to me is you feel that they took Hitman and turned it into James Bond.
It still has aspects of James Bond or of Hitman. Like it's still there. And I gotta say, I love the game. I still think it's a great game. It's just, I think the developer doesn't want you to be an assassin anymore. I think he wants you to be a frontline soldier.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's...
there are certain parts of the game where it forces you to come out of stealth as opposed to having the option to do it stealth. And I'm not talking about main missions. I'm talking about like side stuff too. Like it forces you to...
Well, I have this complaint.
Okay.
And I'll preface this with I love being a Viking and I liked the action combat as well. But Duro, aka Ryan, in chat basically says what I have. He said I was about 20 hours in and barely made it to England. I think
that's true.
I think it's a demotivator. Just get me to the main story that you've been showing off faster, and then introduce me to mechanics or side quests throughout. I think I think it took a little bit too long, and since I knew, I'm not in England yet.
Well, because you played a couple days later, and so me and Jordan are already talking about, hey, have you done this? Hey, have you done this?
Well, but
and you're stuck in that
zone.
Well,
but in fairness too, even if you guys weren't talking about that, I know England is the main part of the game.
Oh yeah,
the developers never talked about being in Norway or wherever they were.
They Iron Man 3'd it.
And so I just think for Forza Horizon 4 suffered from the same thing. You can't have too long of a prelude unless that prelude is just 100% badass that sucks you into the it's a demotivator in my opinion.
Well, because you want to get to all the mechanics of England was the big show-off land. You wanted to explore England.
Well, it gives me
you want to get to the settlement mechanics.
Well, it gives
You
me
wanna get
anxiety
all the-
because I want to fully experience the game in this type of situation. And I see, like, there's all these things to do on this map, but I want to get to England where the main game really starts.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to rush it, if you knew what you were doing and to rush it, it's 4 hours until you get there, at least.
Yeah.
You know?
It could have been a cutscene, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think it was a bad storytelling choice.
Yeah, and it's I would agree with that. It's discouraging to start out like that. I mean, it's Horizon 3, right? Or
No,
Horizon
4.
4. Yeah. It's
Three
Horizon
is-
4,
three's the
you're
masterpiece.
Yeah. Horizon 3 is the masterpiece. Horizon 4, you want to race with your friends, but they are forcing you. They're basically cutting off your internet feed so you can play it in May, play it in July, play it in November, and you get it. It's a racing game. I understand that.
Yeah.
So just let me play with my friends.
I do think with Forza it was actually worse because I don't necessarily think you need a tutorial for a racing game.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's racing.
Just say gas, brake, reverse, go. You know,
yeah.
it's-
And do you think it's kind of a trend that developers are trying to force gamers into this tutorial that is lasting too long?
Yeah, it's. I think they're taking too much time, putting too much thought into it, thinking that it needs to be just as playable as the rest of the game. When in reality, I want to just get to the main game. I'm trying to think of a game that does like a prelude, quote unquote, really well. Can you think of one that takes a lot of time? And I don't think so. Most games where you're sucked in right away. For instance, I'll give you a prime example: Skyrim. Skyrim is a cutscene, a 5-minute cutscene that
not even 5
drops
minutes.
you right into the game. Like immediately, you're into the game, and there'll be like menu pop-ups, tutorials, but that's it, and you're in the game. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, Skyrim doesn't tell you, what to. Like, you come out of that cave is essentially your tutorial, and then you come out to the world and it just says, "Go."
Red Dead Redemption 2 had you in a sort of tutorial zone, but not really, because it was 3 missions in the snow area, and they were just introduced. It was very story driven.
It was still.
It was more engaging.
I know
think,
for a
than
lot of
the,
people though, it was still very slow paced.
Yeah. No, it
Slower
was.
than they're used to.
It's true.
I can give you a good example of it done really, really well.
Yeah.
And that's Grand Theft Auto 5. It starts you off in a prelude in Canada where you rob the bank.
That is,
And-
but
one mission.
that thing is like action packed, sucks in.
But as it's doing it, as you're going into the bank, it's saying, okay, this is the button to crouch.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the button to do this. This is the button to do this. And it's one mission, and it sets the stage for the entire game.
It does.
And you
Introduces
don't realize it's a tutorial.
Introduces you to characters that you don't realize either.
Teaches you the main mechanics of the
that's a
game.
great way to do it. Exactly, because it's one mission. What do you think it takes? 20 minutes total, maybe?
Yeah. And it sets up everything, and they do a really good job. You don't need 4 hours to tell us how to aim a gun.
Yeah, and I just think that's lost time. And I wonder what, because they'll know it. They'll know the data on their own game, what the average player played, and how many people dropped off before making it to England.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what.
I want to know what Forza.
Forza Horizon. I know, like any achievement I got, it was rare because no one got past the first 4 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because
It always pop diamond.
yeah, the diamond rare achievement. I was like, this seems like a normal. I just found a garage. I got okay, sweet. I guess no one played this far.
Yeah, and I just I think you're right though. Grand Theft Auto is a really good example of doing it right. One mission or for instance, in a Forza game, you can do that with one race. They could have done it with one race and maybe had all 3 seasons in one race.
Yeah, kind of like they had at the demo at E3.
The one Jordan couldn't beat.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, they didn't get a T-shirt.
I cannot believe she did not give you a T-shirt.
That was funny.
She did not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's because I rewound too many times, so the time went too high. But I was like trying to do stuff.
She was like even confused. She's like, "You didn't. Wait, did you not make it? Get back in line." So what we're talking about is E3 2019.
That was for a while ago, yeah.
2018, 2019. They had we were able to play on this game before it released, and they had us play basically what you see as the opener of the game, which is where the jets fly over and you're going throughout the different seasons. If you beat that, you could get a shirt, and Jordan miraculously
didn't win.
Didn't beat the game mode that everyone's supposed to beat.
It was designed to.
Well, you're probably trying to be perfect. Yeah, let's rewind this. Okay,
let's get this right.
Let's do this right.
So it was pretty funny.
She's
but I didn't get it. So.
Get back in line. Maybe you'll get lucky next
you
time.
can try again if you want. So anyway, so we have Assassin's Creed new DLC coming out. We have another big one. Mass Effect Legendary Edition is out today. It dropped today.
Yeah.
And that's very exciting.
You guys were talking about it, watching it. We've not played it.
We talked about it during the pre-show.
Yeah, we talked about some funny things in it.
Oh, yeah, the speaking.
The lip sync looks kind of funny.
No, I'm really, really excited for Jordan. So Mass Effect Legendary Edition came out, was it last night?
Today, yeah. Well, yeah, last night today,
okay.
Right.
For those of you that haven't played a Mass Effect game, I am jealous of you guys right now, guys and gals. This game series is amazing, and you'll be able to experience it for the first time. That's what I was telling Jordan before, or on the pre-show with everyone else, just how lucky people are to start experiencing this game again. My favorite is still Mass Effect 2. Jordan, you wanted to play the first one. I told Jordan, just play Mass Effect 2. Just go right into it. Just go into the meat of it. But I think you're going to go for one. You're going to just play the series.
It's going to be my summer goal this year is to play through Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. So the Legendary Edition is a remastered version of 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, and so what did they do to this game to make it a remastered? Did they just
They just went through and upped the graphics. They made sure there was no butts in the way of screens or anything like that.
And that's a shame. I'll be honest. One of the best parts of Mass Effect 2 was Miranda. I'm just gonna be there. I'll be that guy.
Yeah, they just basically tried to make the graphics more modern. And actually, we were watching a little bit of gameplay of the first game right before the show during our pre-show, and it doesn't look that bad. So like the remastered stuff that they did, the what would you call it, updated textures, and even we were kind of, sometimes the lip syncing did look a little funny, but for that old of a game, it actually looks really decent. I think they actually did a good job on the remastered, and that was just the first one. So the second and third one will look a little bit better because they're obviously newer and had newer stuff at the time anyway.
Yeah.
But no, and then David was telling me before the show that or was it someone in chat? They were telling me, now I kind of know the general ending of Mass Effect 3 because it was, the huge thing, right? It was like when Halo 3 came out. It was just a big deal, right? Was it someone in chat that was telling us that they went back and they made some adjustments to the ending to kind of make people happy?
Because people were upset because basically why they were upset, I'll do this in a non-spoiler way.
Okay.
This is a game where I think they were one of the first developers to do this, where your decisions in Mass Effect 1 affect Mass Effect 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. Not everything, but a lot of the decisions, and there are very major decisions, change the game for the next the next renditions of the game, the next versions of the game, right? It just changed it. Your decisions, one of the great things about Mass Effect is your decisions actually mattered. The complaint was it was a very generic ending.
Oh, okay.
That was really what upset a lot of people.
But I don't know. I kind of want to experience that, though. I don't want to experience what it, but maybe I like that ending. Maybe I want the generic ending.
You'll have to tell me what you think.
So in chat, they're saying they extended the ending. So I don't know. It sounds like a politically correct way to say we changed it.
I don't think, no, they didn't change it. They just, Marshall,
they just extended it.
They wanted to make it, it's the trilogy, and a lot of people, the internet was loud and just saying, well, that was a letdown. It was basically like, well, that sucked, kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
but I don't know. Do you change it though, or do you want the original experience?
Well,
that's why it gets hard with remasters.
Here's the thing: this is not George Lucas. This is not 20 years later they're changing it. This was still within the same development cycle. Essentially, it was like 6 months to a year or less after they came and added to the ending.
No, for the remaster they changed it, not the original game. That's what we're talking about.
No, they did it at the time.
Yeah, they did it at the. This is not. Yeah.
So I thought I was under the impression they changed it for the remaster.
No.
No, the DLC was at the time. I remember that being like a thing.
Yeah, so
okay, gotcha.
It was still in the development cycle of the game. So E.T. does not have walkie-talkies running around pointing at the kids. Like it's not been George, like it hasn't been. There's not wontons walking across the screen because he didn't have the technology at the time.
An extra ring of fire when the Death Star blows up.
From the Death Star. This was still during the same development cycle.
I was under the impression they changed it for the remaster.
No. Yeah.
See, I've never played this game.
Yeah, well, and you'll enjoy it regardless. You're gonna have a good time.
Well, what?
It's awesome.
So
Commander Shepard is the man.
So was it just like because in chat, Marshall Red says they extended it. They extended the ending. They obviously did it in some type of patch. Was the original ending still there, and it was just a different choice? You know what I mean? Like, what did they do, or how do you?
I'm gonna go ahead and let you figure it out.
Okay, all right. We'll see.
We'll just see what you think.
No, okay, that makes more sense. I'm sorry, everybody. I thought I was under the impression they changed it for the remaster, but again, I've never played these games, so I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited to go through all of them for the first time. So, and then last but not least, this week we had a big update to one of my favorite games. Rogue Company 2 came out with their new Season 2 update, which comes with a new Rogue Mac, which I think is awesome. And then we have a new Battle Pass and a bunch of quality of life changes, which I really like. One of the quality of life changes is you can they have a daily challenge hub. Now, so you had your daily challenges before that would earn you Rogue Bucks, or not Rogue Bucks, but the blue dollars, whatever those were called. And you can use those to buy character skins and all that stuff. But what they have now is they now have seasonal challenges, so it's very similar. It's not as like
Apex.
Yeah, it's not as many as Apex because it's just kind of like weekly challenges. But you can go in and it says like, hey, get 3 grenade kills. When you get 3 grenade kills, it checks off that challenge. You get blank amount of XP for your battle pass. I really like the weekly challenge. It keeps you something to do after your daily challenges. It gives you something to do during the whole week, and it looks like they're going to go through each week of the season. They also added we have a new ranked mode. Well, it's not new ranked mode, but the ranked mode is reset because it's a new season. But they did add a new feature to the ranked mode, which we tried out this week, and I really like. They added banning heroes, which is really cool. So each team can ban one hero at a time.
And you had a chance to try this out.
Yeah, it's really fun. Who'd we ban? We banned Saint because we're tired of him healing everybody.
He heals everybody.
He heals everybody. It's frustrating. And who did they ban? They banned Anvil, which was funny. Yeah.
Well, we thought it was a dumb pick at first, but then we thought of the map that we were on, and he can change the flow of the map.
I've been playing Anvil more and more, and I think if you are good with Anvil, you can have one of the most hardcore effects on a match.
Yeah, influential. He's definitely an influential.
He's super influential because of that barricade.
Mm-hmm. You can zone out.
He can just change the entire look of the map for your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that's after thinking of that. Yeah, maybe they were okay to ban that character.
It takes a little bit more skill, I think, in Demolition to be good with Anvil, but in like Strikeout.
Yeah, the game modes that don't matter. Let's just say it.
So in Strikeout,
I'm just gonna say it.
When it's 1 point, it's really easy to dominate with Anvil.
Yeah, you just go to the corner and
run up to the point and throw it down.
Well, me and Jordan were talking about this. The game is balanced around Demolition.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everything else is just for fun, but the only ranked mode is Demolition. All the balancing in the entire game is for that. So that's why he would be an OP character in another mode because. Not meant to be. He's not meant to be played that way.
It's true. What do you guys think of Mac? I love him.
I think he's an excellent addition. I think he's a counter to.
I think he's a counter to Chalk and Burnout. What's her name? Scorch.
Burnout.
Burnout Paradise.
Burnout Paradise. Scorch.
No, I think he's a counter to heavy DPS character.
Yeah, exactly.
Because his passive is he comes with that extra armor.
He comes with extra armor automatically.
Yeah.
The thing that is tricky about him is he has a flashbang that pops up.
Oh, that thing dominates.
That flash is awesome.
Yeah, but I didn't realize how to use it at first, and it's charging. I'm like waiting for it, and then I didn't realize. Oh, it blows up.
So
you got to use it before.
Talk about zoning.
It hits everybody.
Yeah. Well, I think the only way you can avoid it is if you're behind a wall that's enclosed. So behind a wall that has a roof. Because, for example, because what it does is you put down this thing, it charges up and it shoots a flash into the air, and it flashes everything in there's a bubble of area.
On the side, on that side of the map that you're on.
So what's cool, what's useful about it is if someone's behind like boxes, right, it will still flash them because it's up in the air going over their cover, if that makes sense, right? So I think the only time you can get away from it is if you're in an enclosed area and it can't see you. So like in a building, really. So I think it's really good for zoning the points in demolition. I would at least get 1 flash every time I used it. There was one time where I got 3 flashes. That was really cool. He's a cool character.
What's very fantastic about Rogue Company? I mean, it's not that popular of a game yet, but I feel like the developers are very serious about it becoming something big. The fact that they added bannable heroes means they are very interested in the esports professional scene. They want it to be a two-team co-op, very fun to watch game to play. And they're doing the changes they're making. They're making characters that counter other characters.
Yeah.
Constantly. I mean, we had Green Arrow. What's his name? I don't know that kid's name.
Yeah,
Seeker. He counters flankers, essentially. I feel like he does a really good job at countering flankers, which there were a lot of flanking at the time when he was released. Because of his sonar things.
His arrows,
exactly.
Off,
you can see them coming. I think they're doing a great job at balancing groups of characters that counter rock, paper, scissors, but a lot further than that. I think that's a sign of a very, very good game developer that is interested in it becoming an esports game, if that makes sense. And I think that character, like you said, it counters DPS characters. Those are really, really strong, in the game. So I think that they're specifically doing these balance changes, adding these characters, making bannable characters. I think this game is going to go far. That's just I really like this game. I hope it does, and I think they're doing really, really good decisions on making that happen. Yeah. And they're using things to get it popular, like the Fortnite formula, which don't shudder when I say that if you don't like Fortnite. They have a really great store, really great emotes. It's a third-person game, so you can see your emotes, you can see your skins, you can see your characters. The whole game is a formula for success, I think, and I think the developers are doing an excellent job.
No, well, this whole update, because I really like the quality of life changes. The interface changed around a little. Like I said, the new challenge system, or the seasonal challenge, it actually even shows in a much better place what battle pass rank you are. So you're always thinking, oh, I'm level such and such, I should level up. I do think the battle pass is a little bit better this season.
I agree.
So there was like 3 items I enjoyed last season, but I feel like there's more items this season.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you thought of it.
I think there are more. Someone messaged me and said that there's not more items, but for instance, there's 2 flyer backpacks or whatever. I don't even know what they're called.
There may not be more items, but they're
Quality.
better items.
Yeah,
like there's 2
items I care about.
Well, like there's 2 backpacks on there that didn't exist in the last season.
No, the last season I think had 2 backpacks.
Well, I'm not
it had
sure.
1 jetpack
Not
and 1
2 that I wanted.
Yeah,
That's
I think
the
they're
thing.
higher
Yeah.
quality.
Higher quality.
Yeah,
quality
that's what.
So
No, it seems like a really solid season. I really like the addition of Mac, and I do agree with Spicy. High Res sees this as a big long-term project for sure. There's no doubt about it. Not only that, they brought in they brought back a game mode temporarily. There's just so much to do. They have the weeklies and dailies, and there's another one. Monthlies? I don't know, whatever.
Seasonal. The Apex.
We'll
call those
weeklies.
the Apex,
Yeah.
please.
No, chat just reminded me, and this is a good thing to mention, is the Season 2 perk pack is out now for Rogue Company. So if you're an Xbox Game Pass,
It's good. Yeah. They have. So Jordan showed me the
an
emote.
Awesome emote in it.
Oh my gosh!
One of the best emotes in the game.
I use it at least 5 times during a match just to taunt my characters. It's good.
If you're an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate member, you can go down to the store and go to the perks section, and there's a Season 2 perk that you can claim. I think it's good. I forget the date. I think it's good throughout the month.
In June. I think June 1st.
So go and claim it. It'll give you a little bit of gold, which is the in-game currency. It'll give you one of the best emotes in the game, and I think it gives you about 10 to 15 levels of battle pass rank.
Well,
so it's a nice little
15,
boost.
yeah, I think it's 15. Yeah.
Well, remember, was it a week ago or 2 weeks ago? I complained about the Rogue Company Battle Pass. I said that would be my one criticism. They really stepped it. They did a lot better this run.
Well, and can I say again, I really enjoy that there's only 50 levels.
You may say that, yes.
Yes, there's games out there that have 100 level battle passes. I don't care if they take the same amount of experience as it gets to 1 to 100. to do the same 1 to 50. I think 50 is a much better number. I think there's more valuable items in 50 because you don't have to fill 75 levels full of fluff. Mm-hmm. I really appreciate the level 50 or 50 stuff, and I appreciate that they give us 90 days.
I know.
It's all right, you guys, all right.
Well, it's not as daunting as other games.
Yeah, where it's you got 2 months to go, and you're like, oh my gosh.
It's well, why am I even gonna play that? I can't even get to level 98.
This update, I feel like, me personally, is a really good step forward for Rogue Company. And I'm excited to see what they do with the rest of the season.
Yeah. Let's take some questions from the community. To submit a question, you can do so each and every single week over at youtube.com/XoneBros. Hit the community tab. The question goes up there if you're a YouTube member. Let's go to Dark Knight first. Dark Knight says, okay, bros. Mass Effect is out. Gotta ask what you will be running character build-wise. He says, I ran in the original trilogy, Manshep, Adept, Paragon, trying to decide on if I want to go different this go-around. May go Vanguard, but we will see. Spicy.
No, yeah, and they use different terminology to I know what they are, but it's been so long since I played it. The what I like to do, I'm just a magic caster in any game I play. Ask Jordan. We're playing Dark Souls right now. I love range. I love magic. So I'm gonna go the one with the 0. All the 0 abilities. I think Jordan. I think you'd be Vanguard. I think that's...
Yeah, I like to be either a tanky character or an assault type character. So.
And Dark Knight's probably really mad at me for not remembering, but I can't remember. I don't know what they're called, but just using the 0 abilities where you can... It's all the anti-gravity where... And I love this about Mass Effect. There's people... I actually really enjoyed... And it might be different now, but I thought the AI in Mass Effect 2 was really fun to play against when you're in combat. But they would go and hide behind walls, and I love throwing my anti-gravity spell around the walls, and it goes and hits them, and then they go anti-gravity, and they just go limp and go above the cover that they're in, and then you just take them out. It's such a satisfying way to play that game.
Yeah.
You could also, just go... Just like you're playing Call of Duty, just go right in, cover, shoot, grenades, all that stuff. But I'm going to be playing this game again, and I'm going to be playing it the same way I always play. The 0 abilities, magic casters. That's probably why I like Jack so much, is she's natively a 0.
Magical.
Yeah, she's natively magical. But that's really exciting. Yeah.
Marshall Ray says Infiltrator for the win.
Oh,
cool.
David,
Nice.
Did you play Mass Effect?
No.
Are you going
to?
I played Andromeda a little bit.
Yeah, see, that's the only one I've played too, and everybody says, well...
So here's the deal with Andromeda. It's an okay game.
Yeah, I didn't dislike it.
I'll say, imagine, have you ever seen the show 24? Have you ever seen that show?
Yeah.
Imagine that show without Jack Bauer.
Okay.
This Andromeda was 24 without Jack Bauer. You didn't have Commander Shepard, for one thing.
Just anonymous characters.
It's just... You just didn't connect to the characters like you would Commander Shepard. I think he's an important person in that game, and there's more things than that. But that's really I felt like when I played Andromeda, it was great, and I accidentally played it on hard for the first 3 months I played it, which you probably shouldn't do because I would get frustrated and everything. But I still ended up playing it. But it's good. It's a great game. But it didn't have the same appeal as these 3 games.
A lot of people told me that it doesn't feel like a Mass Effect game.
And that's I
I don't know because I've not, that was my first Mass Effect game.
And it's hard for someone, maybe someone can articulate it better. It's hard to say why, but I feel as though it didn't have the characters that the game didn't allow you to grow accustomed and grow the relationships with the characters that you did. And I think they kind of removed that in order to push the story faster so you'd get less story and more arcade combat. Maybe that's how to put it. Mm-hmm. It just felt like you weren't attached to all the characters like you would have been in the original series.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it's like imagine a James Bond movie without James Bond in it. That's kind of what Mass Effect Andromeda was. And when you have that IP name, Mass Effect, you're expecting to get
the Mass Effect.
Yeah. You're expecting the attachment to those characters.
Really good, David. I'm gonna try and use that one over the weekend.
You're expecting, with a BioWare game, you're expecting to get that attachment. You're expecting to take your time and go through dialogue, have some awesome combat engagements, have decisions, who lives, who dies, have decisions like that. And you're expecting to sit there and think, who should I woo?
Yeah. Do you guys feel like BioWare has kind of struggled?
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot.
I
think BioWare is not the BioWare of old.
Yeah. Hopefully this game
But
is
we'll
a
see.
step
Maybe,
in the new
yeah,
direction.
hopefully
This
they
game
bring
helps,
it back.
and then they're coming out with Mass Effect 4, which is a direct sequel, right?
Yeah.
So.
But I say stuff like that. I have a very strong love for the Mass Effect series, and I think if you have not played it, I'm excited for those that will be able to play it. I saw a chat earlier. I can't remember who said it, but they were talking about how have you not played this trilogy yet? I mean, there's probably lots of people that haven't played it. It's just you probably played other games at the time.
I was playing Gears of War.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so I'm
Andrew
super
Cullinane
excited.
says, I loved Andromeda. It was a great Mass Effect game. The only bad thing was they only had one new race. It was a completely different galaxy.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. You're in a totally new area. I mean, one of the great things about Mass Effect is walking around as Commander Shepard, and you're like, I wonder if I can get a discount here. And so, because there are all these vendors in like the main hub of the store, and what's awesome about that game is you'd go, okay, if I supported you guys, would you give me a discount? They're like, sure. And then you go around, you start playing the game again, and then you hear your voice. I'm Commander Shepard, and this is the best store in the galaxy.
You sell ads?
Yeah, you sell ads as Commander Shepard.
That's pretty good.
And this is and you do that so you can get discounts and stuff. It's awesome.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious.
And this is the best store in the galaxy.
Let's take one more question today. Let's take it from Brian F. Brian F. writes in and says, hey, bros, Xbox's E3 event is less than a month away. What are the top 3 announcements you expect to hear? Not necessarily want, but expect. Okay, top 3. I'll go first. That expect to hear. We're gonna see Halo. I think they're gonna really hit Flight Simulator and Halo pretty hard.
Oh yeah. I forget Flight Simulator's coming to the console
on Series X, and then I think we get one brand new AAA look at a brand new IP that we don't know about, and that's the 3. And I fully expect each one of those.
Yeah,
Jordan.
Yeah, this is what I think.
Break it down.
Is what I think. So I guess what I don't know if expect is the right word. More so hopes, I guess. I think we're gonna get Halo as well, and I think we're gonna get a release date. I don't know what the release date is, but I would venture to say either holiday or very, very early February 2022. You know what I mean?
No, I think the release date's gonna be October 6th.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's a very specific date.
Yeah.
All right.
Give me a date, Spicy.
Of what?
Release of Halo.
Oh,
I say October 6th.
You're asking the wrong guy.
December 10th.
No.
Everybody will kind of be waiting off the new Call of Duty, looking for a new shooter.
November.
Bam. November's always a tough month.
November's going to compete with some Call of Duties.
You asked me. I'm telling you what I think.
Okay. Fair enough.
November 28th.
Is that Thanksgiving?
Not bad.
The day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Black Friday deal.
No, so I think we're gonna get Halo Infinite, and I do think we're gonna. I think we're gonna get a definitive release date. Now, whether that release date is early next year or at the end of this year, I don't know. I think we're gonna get some Starfield stuff. I don't really know if we're gonna get a release date.
I'm thinking. I'm still in mindset like. Well, we got to wait for the Bethesda conference. No, we don't.
Well, see, that's actually what I was going to say for my answer, is they are going to double down on all the purchases that they made.
Yeah.
And they are going to show why they made it.
Wait.
And not show... They're going to show why they made it by how they present it.
Yeah.
Do they announce a new game studio purchase?
They probably do. They have every year.
Another one.
Yeah. I don't know whether it's big or small. They have
Square Enix, perhaps.
Yeah. So Halo Infinite with a release date. I think we at least see some gameplay of Starfield. Whether we get a release date or not, I don't know yet. And then the third one, I really do think this is going to happen. I think we get Elden Ring release date.
Ooh, Elden Ring.
Yeah. There's a lot of rumors floating around. I think we get an Elden Ring release date.
That'll be cool. Before we get to Spicy's picks,
Oh, did I not give my?
No.
I have to do 3.
Yeah, three
three.
expectations. Hold on, but before we get to yours, Cooper says I think they show Forza Horizon 5 and give us a 2021 release day of this year. You're probably correct there. Although I would like to see a hardcore Forza. But I do think it's more marketable for Forza Horizon 5, so I can be convinced there. But I think actually we get a Forza. Anyways, Duro, aka Ryan, on the date of Halo says I think it's going to be the 20th anniversary, November 15th of Xbox.
Yeah,
that's probably a pretty solid guess there. Well done. H2Oer says as well 20th anniversary as well. Brian F says I think we'll get one big announcement like when backwards compatibility was first announced, something like that.
We might get that Nintendo announcement, whatever that was.
And Marshall Ray says I expect to see Xbox Design Labs 2.0.
That'd be cool.
Spicy. 3 expectations, not wants, but expectations. So you went over the one.
Yeah, they're going to double down on their acquisitions.
Okay.
And I think that's big.
Do we get a new Elite controller?
No.
I really think they should maybe go back to the design of.
I don't know. I got my new one in, and I am loving it again.
The design of the Elite controller is good. They should look into the parts they use, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, Jordan, who owns From Software?
Bandai Namco. Well, I don't know if they own them, but Bandai Namco always
is
publishes.
The publisher?
Yeah, is always the publisher of their games.
And who owns them?
I don't know.
I'll look.
Look,
keep going down this thought.
Because
in a couple months, Microsoft.
That's what I'm going to say. Yeah. I mean, they are historically
it's a wholly owned subsidiary, Bandai Namco Holdings.
Okay.
How much are they worth? Let's see if they can.
What are they?
How many billions are they? How many billions are they worth that Microsoft?
Let's see if Microsoft can go through the company couch again and get enough change to buy that one.
$36?
No.
Oh, that's
that's their stock. Well, $36. This one's on me.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
$571 million approximately.
Okay, so half
that's
a billion.
according to 2019.
$500 million. $500 million. Oh yeah, that's pocket change for them.
Yeah, that's
so.
Help, give them $1 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to be, hey, here, take an extra.
Let's say they buy the people that do Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Bloodborne and all that stuff, right? Maybe I could see them acquisitioning them a lot.
I mean, look at Tales of Vesperia. These are all like very Japanese JRPG.
Bandai Namco.
Blue Protocol.
And that's where I'm going with this. Historically, Microsoft has lacked in the JRP section, the genre. I think Microsoft goes for Square Enix if they can, which they can.
We're just throwing out anybody.
They go for Square Enix, they go for Bandai Namco, and then they just check that off the list and say, okay, we have JRPGs now. We're going into China. We're going into Japan. The only people left to buy is Sony, I think. Right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, what I think is they're going to double down on all their acquisitions, and they're going to show why by game play at game trailers like they've done in the past. I think Microsoft does a great job at just showing games and not the fluff that other developers like Ubisoft does sometimes. They just go right. They just talk about how awesome.
I like their games, but their conferences are terrible.
Well, they just talk about, we're developers, and these are developers, and these are developers, and we're making a better world for developers. And it's really hard to get excited about games when that's the message to gamers. In my opinion, I feel like just show me gameplay, get me excited about games. And I think Microsoft is going to do that, showcasing their acquisitions by gameplay trailers and new games and that. That's what I think.
That's the much better way to do it, yeah. Duro Ryan in chat says they're going to delay the Elite 3 to add haptic feedback on the triggers like the PlayStation has. I do think that's coming. Everybody that has used the PlayStation triggers says
they
it's
do
amazing.
say it's a very unique feature, very cool.
So I do think that perhaps we'll get that announcement on new controllers. How cool would it be if it's already built in? It's just like a firmware update.
It's like, oh yeah, we put that in there. We just haven't activated it yet.
That wouldn't surprise me.
We were just seeing if it was people liked it.
Yeah.
That's how futuristic this box is, and you can just like double down on it.
This patch adds hardware attachments to it somehow magically.
Do you think we'll get a Slim, Series X Slim?
Not yet.
Or maybe
it's way too soon
maybe
for
like
that.
maybe like a discless one.
Give us at least a
No,
year and a
I don't
half.
think we get any of those. Yeah.
Give us a year and a half to play our console.
You know what's
first.
funny is if they do come out with an Xbox Series Slim, it would probably look like the Xbox Series S.
Yeah, the S is the slim. The S is sexy. Sexy.
That's what the S stands for.
Sexy.
The
Xbox
S1.
sexy.
The S1.
Yeah. Great question. Hey,
Xbox
thank you very
S1.
much, Brian F. for writing in. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for listening. That does us for this week, guys. So if you haven't yet, head over to iTunes, head over to Spotify, and rate, review, and subscribe to us there. Share us with your friends. Come subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't yet. The daily morning shows come back this week. And you have Jordan streaming over there. Big Spicy is probably going to start streaming as well.
I plan on it. Hopefully I can.
He's going to start streaming as well. So it's we've got it. The content is here. The content is glorious.
It's glorious.
It's amazing. I'm looking like, where's the... There it is. There it is.
Oh,
We're
I'm
out of
sorry.
here.
I didn't
4,
have it on here.
3,
Sorry.
2, 1. Bye-bye.
I'm walking